Ongoing violence in Okigwe area of Imo State was reported, where local youths are calling on the Biafran Liberation Army to assist them in repelling attacks by suspected Fulani herdsmen and militias believed to be linked to Nigerian government-backed forces. Eyewitnesses claim Nigerian security agents, including the Department of State Services, DSS, and a unit called Tiger Base, are conducting house-to-house killings in communities within Okigwe, especially during nighttime raids. The local population believes that Nigerian military and DSS operatives are targeting Biafran supporters, accusing them of terrorism without trial and slaughtering them under secretive government orders. Reports indicate that the Nigerian government has called a secret meeting involving Southeast governors and Nigerian Air Force personnel to plan airstrikes using military jets like the Tucano against Biafra-aligned communities. Tension is increasing across villages in Okigwe and surrounding areas as residents brace for possible aerial bombardments, accusing state authorities of pushing an ethnic and religious cleansing agenda. However, in the midst of this chaos, a critic has appealed to sons and daughters of Okigwe and the Biafran diaspora to rise up, defend their land, and spread awareness about the violence and targeted killings reportedly being carried out by federal forces. The critic revealed that Nigerian government had the temerity to send representatives and false witnesses to Finland to testify against Simon Ekpa in court, alleging terrorism without valid evidence. Whereas Nigerian government and its security forces are the ones committing actual terrorism act against Biafrans in Biafra land. The critic strongly criticizes Nigerian officials like General Christopher Musa and Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, accusing them of fabricating lies against Simon Ekpa and refusing to appear in court to defend their accusations. He alleged that Simon Ekpa is successfully defending himself in court, exposing the lack of evidence against him and embarrassing the Nigerian government's legal representatives. He concludes by encouraging Biafran supporters to remain strong, united and vigilant, claiming that the Nigerian government is panicking due to recent legal and ground-level victories by the Biafran Liberation Army and Republic government in exile. It began like a spark in the dark, the kind of quiet tension that slowly builds until the sound of gunfire breaks the silence of a small town and changes the rhythm of life forever. The town of Okigwe, nestled in the hilly terrain of Imo State, Nigeria, once known for its serenity and modest lifestyle, is now echoing with fear, uncertainty, and the cries of ordinary men and women trying to make sense of the chaos descending on their homes. Over the past few weeks, reports began surfacing from villages in and around Okigwe. What they described was not just a local conflict or an isolated skirmish, but an all-out confrontation that now includes multiple armed groups. The Biafran Liberation Army, fighters known locally as Musa boys and Asari boys, and aggressive Fulani herdsmen. According to eyewitnesses and local sources, this explosive mix of combatants has turned Okigwe and its surrounding villages into a war zone, with deadly consequences that stretch far beyond the immediate violence. It all started when Fulani herdsmen, often armed and moving in bands, began appearing more frequently on farmland and village outskirts. At first, villagers thought they were simply passing through or perhaps seeking grazing lands. But the encounters soon became confrontational. Crops were destroyed, farmers were chased off their lands, women reported being harassed, men started disappearing. Entire communities began to live in fear. And then it turned deadly. According to one elderly farmer named Nadozie Obina, the herdsman came around midnight. He said he heard the goats bleating wildly and then footsteps in the yard. When he stepped out, he saw torches in the dark and heard a language he did not recognize. He tried to shout, but a hand covered his mouth and he was dragged into the bush. Somehow he escaped, barefoot and blooded, hiding under a palm tree until dawn. The next morning, 3 of his neighbors were found dead, including a pregnant woman. This was just the beginning. Soon after, a wave of mysterious nighttime raids began sweeping through Okigwe. Local youths reported that these attacks were not just by herdsmen, but involved heavily armed men dressed in black, speaking Hausa and English, some of whom identified themselves as members of the Nigerian security services. Many villagers said these men operated out of a base called Tiger Base, a name that has now become synonymous with fear and death in Imo State. They arrived in convoys, with faces covered, searching houses, dragging young men into trucks, and leaving bodies behind. People started whispering about the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Army, and elite tactical squads being part of a silent campaign. There was no warning. There were no arrests, just disappearance and death. In this atmosphere of terror, a call went out, not from any government office or traditional leader, but from desperate village youth who took to social media and underground communication channels, appealing to the Biafran Liberation Army for help. These were not ordinary requests. These were cries for survival. They begged for protection, for defense, for a presence strong enough to challenge the growing darkness. The Biafran Liberation Army, long seen by some as a controversial and militant group, began to respond. Dressed in black, moving quickly and organized, they entered Okigwe in numbers. Videos circulating on underground platforms showed them parading through rural roads, carrying weapons, saluting local elders, and declaring their intention to defend Biafra land. To many frightened residents, they were not rebels. They were guardians. This response did not sit well with the Nigerian state. In response, security operations intensified. Rumors began circulating about a high-level meeting held secretly between Southeast governors, top military officers, and representatives of the Nigerian Air Force. The objective was chilling: aerial strikes on Biafran strongholds. The mention of the word Tucano, a reference to the Brazilian-made A-29 Super Tucano light attack aircraft, sent shivers down people's spines. The same jets that had been used against terrorists in the northern part of Nigeria were now allegedly being considered for operations against villages in the southeast. Residents of communities like Umulolo, Arondizuogu, and Isiokwe began hearing strange sounds at night. Low-flying aircrafts, heavy helicopters, vehicles with tinted windows, and strange men asking strange questions. Elderly women began sleeping in churches. Children were moved from their beds into hidden bush shelters. Entire families left their ancestral homes, walking through thick forests to find safety in neighboring states or deeper rural areas. The violence was no longer just about herdsmen and farmers. It was about identity. It was about survival. It was about who had the right to call the land home. Amid all of this, voices began to rise from the Biafran diaspora. Activists, lawyers, exiled leaders, and human rights campaigners, calling attention to what they described as a planned ethnic cleansing, a systematic extermination of Biafran voices, and a final effort by the Nigerian government to silence a movement that refused to die. One of the loudest of these voices was a controversial figure currently facing trial in Finland, Simon Ekpa. Once a known disciple of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and now the self-declared Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile, Simon Ekpa has been accused by the Nigerian government of inciting violence, promoting terrorism, and orchestrating separatist activities from abroad. The Nigerian state went so far as to send officials and so-called witnesses to Finland, hoping to get Simon Ekpa arrested, charged and convicted. But that plan appears to have backfired. Inside the Finnish courtroom, the case began to unravel. According to sources close to the trial, the so-called witnesses sent by the Nigerian state were either inconsistent or unprepared. Some contradicted themselves, others admitted they had never even met Simon Ekpa in person. The documents provided were filled with errors, and when asked for clear evidence linking Simon Ekpa to acts of terror, Nigerian representatives allegedly could not provide any proof beyond internet videos and newspaper reports. Simon Ekpa, on his part, came prepared. He presented documents, phone records, and legal arguments, not just defending himself, but exposing the Nigerian government's failures in addressing the root causes of violence in the southeast. He accused people like General Christopher Musa, the current Chief of Defense Staff, and Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, the Minister of Interior, of orchestrating lies, misrepresenting facts, and refusing to appear in court to justify their actions. The embarrassment this caused the Nigerian delegation in Finland was not lost on observers. Legal analysts in Europe began questioning the credibility of the charges. Human rights organizations started monitoring the case more closely. The Nigerian government, it seemed, was being put on trial, not just Simon Ekpa. Back in Nigeria, the effects were being felt. Supporters of the Biafran Liberation Army saw the court victories, however small, as a sign of hope. The government was losing ground in the courtroom. And on the battlefield, the Biafran Liberation Army was reportedly regaining territory, pushing back attacks, and organizing local defense networks. Critics of the government accused it of panicking. They pointed to sudden arrests of journalists, increased military patrols in the southeast, and new curfews as signs that the administration feared a growing resistance. They said the state was now not only losing control of the narrative, but also the respect of the people. In Okigwe, the battle raged on, but the spirit of the people had shifted. Women gathered in church halls, cooking for the Biafran fighters. Young men built trenches and makeshift barricades. Old men held town meetings in the bush, planning evacuation routes and coordinating defense. One man named Ikechukwu Madu, a local teacher who lost his brother in one of the Tiger Base raids, said he no longer believed in the promise of one Nigeria. He said he had watched soldiers break into his family home, drag his brother into the yard, and shoot him in front of his mother. No trial, no questions, just an accusation that he was a supporter of a terrorist group. The line between government and terror in his eyes had blurred beyond recognition. And as the world slowly begins to pay attention, there is a new urgency. The situation in Okigwe is not just about one town. It is a symbol, a warning, a cry for justice. It tells the story of a people pushed to the edge, a government desperate to hold control, and a movement that, despite the guns and prisons and trials, continues to grow stronger. Whether this ends in peace or tragedy remains to be seen. But for now, the hills of Okigwe echo with gunfire, and the people wait for justice, for truth, for freedom. The sound of thunder in Okigwe is no longer from the sky. It is from the barrels of rifles, from the roar of armored tanks, and from the fear that hangs in the air like heavy smoke. The land that once sang with the sounds of market women shouting prices and children playing football now trembles under the boots of combatants and the cries of the displaced. As the fighting in Okigwe intensified, more and more people began to flee their homes. Families who had lived in these parts for generations were forced to abandon their farms, homes, and even their elderly parents just to survive the onslaught. Entire villages like Umulolo, Umuopara, Isiokwe, and parts of Arondizwogu became ghost towns overnight. Some residents escaped through thick bushes, traveling by foot under the cover of darkness, afraid of being seen by government drones or intercepted by unknown gunmen. Tension remains high. The people of Okigwe are tired but defiant. They have lost too much to go back to silence. Their lands are soaked with the blood of farmers, traders, teachers, and innocent children.
Good day, conscientious peoples of the world. I have come with a quick information. What is currently going on in Okigwe State? Currently, the Hope Osodema ordered DSS, Tiger Base, to go to Okigwe, house to house, killing people, house to house, and this is what is currently going on now. Yesterday night, being 11th of June 2025, till as I'm reporting, giving this update now, the men of Tiger Base, DSS, Nigerian Army are trooping in Okigwe, killing Biafrans, going house to house, killing Biafrans. Watch this video and share it. Make sure that this video reaches to your loved ones. What is currently going on in Okigwe State? They are going house to house. Nigerian Army under the command of Hope Osodema and DSS personnel. They are going house to house, killing people at Abomololo Okigwe, at Umuopara Okigwe, at Ndinjoko Aro Okigwe. They are there killing people, massacring people. And this is where we have been warning Biafrans living in Okigwe to give men on ground the information in time. Please, this one is a very bad one. Hope Osodema want to finish Okigwe people. I don't know why Hope Osodema is interested of killing Biafrans, especially in Okigwe State. Please, Biafra Liberation Army is bringing this update to warn Biafrans in Okigwe to be security conscious. And it is time to end this.
The special force. This is special report, like seriously very dangerous, like this case now. Here's the second body.
Bikono, Kai Hunobulo, Ahun de Fulani armed. The Bazon Yondumu Nobo, Ozokadamko. About 8 of them rearmed. When I'm actually this time, Fushichin Humo. As I'm making this voice note and this video, the whole use of Opo. Now, hold on now. Giving the chairman, here, Chande, you talk. Here, Chande, you talk. Look around that Canadian guy, chairman of Okwemeke, Mr. Kevin again. Only an Obaranga who is president in Domako because chairman of Kwabola, the neighboring village. Mandomako, Mandaka Lovo, Mandomocha, male chairman in Dakalovo. You are waiting for their use. I shall join your hand. And Mebeka in Dopo. I'm gonna have game, eh? Can they have run off because I know very close to us now in the Fulani. Imana last week, one day Bekani. Here, ni more here Bekani, chasing my way. And when you're intention way to be today by this time, this kind of afternoon. So we are looking forward to do to make sure that it taking place and invade our village this night. So all moko nonga now, only in the nuchebe ebe amebe. Here we are all now, planning on what to do. Please, we are calling on everybody. Ndoku. Ndano ya biko ne help anyi be hunu de YouTube akonga nwe anything him really care want to shi yende jinga no good arm they face in there and they hunu nwa ho ebe anu apacha AK47 ejoba in the village nwe anything na you really because you should come to our rescue owo na ne we je get bita because I need really equipped here we need immediate response because Here, Oku General, Oku Assembly Hall, Kaibako now. Waiting for Munanya and Deka Kalovo, Chairman Akalova Bedola here. Youth President, Chairman and Domakro, they are aware. Also, the youth president of Omakro here, waiting for Deka Omakro youth. I check on what to do, on how to attack these people to send them out from our village. Kara Himerunde Bekanya, my in the Kejon, assistance to the Mwenye Bekanya Bafima Shaj.
The Nigerian Army, another special force and police and neighborhood are federated here. Thank you, sir.
Greetings, consensus peoples of the world. My fellow Biafrans, I am here with a current information of what is going on in the land of Biafra, especially in old Imo State. As our able leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is strongly defeating the Nigerian terrorist government in their own courts, in their own law courts. And in the same way that Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, are also defeating the Nigerian prosecutors in the Finland. So, during all this victory on the side of Biafrans, the Nigerian federal government summoned the Southeast governors and some of their political leaders and they are currently in a meeting with Nigerian Air Force, and what they are discussing, bargaining there currently now is that on how they want to use Tucano jets, applying of Tucano jets, mixer. Because what is their problem? They have come in conclusion that the men of Biafra Liberation Army, the men of Biafra Defense Forces are dealing with them, destroying them on the ground. So now they want to apply on air. They want to come war, bring war, another war against the Okigwe people through air, to come and bombard communities, to come and destroy lives and properties. So I want the international and the local communities to understand what is currently going on in the land of Biafra, especially in Okigwe State. And I want to use this opportunity to call up the sons and the daughters of Okigwe to rise up to hope for them. It is time for the leaders of Okigwe, for the people of Okigwe to rise up against this Fulani terrorist Islamization agenda of hope for them in Imo State, in the old Imo State. So this information is what I want to pass to Biafrans so that you will understand what is currently going on. Please, if you are living in the Okigwe axis, I want you to be careful, to be security conscious for now, especially Isi Alambano, Ehimen Bano, Isiweke, Obo, Onimo, and the Okigwe. These areas has been mapped out for bombardment by Hopus Odema and the Nigerian Air Force. So be security conscious and guard your environment. Report to the Biafra Liberation Army channel any criminality, any criminal movement of Fulanis or Nigerian Army. Just give us the report immediately.
This definitely must come to defend. Today, you see, Nigerian government is just stupid people. They are just mad people. They don't have sense. And why I say Tinubu's government will be the worst government on this planet Earth is because they are the first to attack, but they don't know how to defend. So now what they did is they used Christopher Musa, the one that calls himself the chief security officer of the military, the CDS, you know. they use him to propagate lies against Simon Ekpa, saying to Finland, if Simon Ekpa was in Nigeria and defending, doing the same thing to Finland, are they going to take it? So all these things that they have said, they could not come to Finland to defend themselves. They are sending our own brothers, these three fools where you see for here, hungry idiots where you see DOS members that sold out Mazinand. They can look at them, how shameless and how shameful they are. And then they came to court to start asking questions, the questions that they already know the answer. Are you a terrorist? And then Simon Ekpa said, no, I am not a terrorist. I am defending my people. And they have to bring 3 Igbos, not Yorubas, or 3 Igbos, in conjunction with the Minister of Interior. Minister of Interior from Nigeria, Minister of Interior from Nigeria. And I asked the question, where is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Olo? Where is she? Where is the Enugu State Governor that said he has a lot of evidence against Simon Ekpa? Where is, what is it called? The governor of the delegitimized governor of Anambra State today, Chukwu Masoludo, that said Simon Ekpa is having gangs of criminals. Where are you people? You can't come to Finland easy. And you see, these are the problems we're having. They use our own brothers to get us. They fight us with our own brothers. Now, Chukwu Masoludo, you are not in Finland. Minister of Foreign Affairs, you are not in Finland. General Christopher Musa, as stupid as you are not in Finland. But you can stay in Nigeria in your comfort zone to lie to the world that Ekpa is a terrorist. Ekpa is terrorizing the Southeast because of the mineral resources that you people are milking from the Southeast. I thought you would have come to challenge Ekpa. You match strength for strength, wisdom to wisdom. We didn't see you people. You are now paying Minister of Interior that has no business with this case to come and pay these 3 fools that are from DOS. You can see their names there. To come and, you know, lie against our Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister was destroying them, was hitting them on the head. Because the man is very intelligent. A very intelligent man indeed. So, Biafrans, please, don't be anxious for nothing, because we are dealing with these people. We are dealing with them. I ain't to God. I thought you people had swag. You know, Biafrans, let me tell you people one thing and why they cannot win this case. The primary objective of Tinubu, this drug law, the criminal, was to bring back Simon Ekpa to Nigeria so that he can come and face persecution. That was their plan. Their plan was never that Simon Ekpa would drag them to the courts. That was never their plan, because they don't have any evidence to do anything here. They have no evidence against Simon. They know that for sure. That is why they did what they did. That is why they gave Ogenkere money. That is why the Enugu State Governor can pay Ogenkere money to go into the former brigade and destroy it and sell Simon to the Finnish authority. You see what Finland has done. Yeah? It is only our Prime Minister that can explain that to us. But for now, the case is still going in our favor. And Nigeria, you see, anybody that has not come across Nigerian government would not know what I'm saying today. They have no case, they have nothing, they cannot produce anything. And I still stand on my word. I want Christopher Musa to come to Finland. I want Sheyi Tinubu, the son of the drug lord, to come to Finland. Bianca Low, you are the foreign minister. You are supposed to be in court, not in Nigeria, because you submitted the petitions against Simon. And governor of Enugu State, the delegitimized governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, you said you have a lot of evidences against Simon Ekpa. So why are you people not coming up? Why are you not coming forth? And governor of Anambra State, I want you people to gather those. This is the time we need those evidence in Finland. People without shame, shameless fools, old idiots. Don't worry. everything you are doing will still catch up with you. You know your time is over. And you people know that you are shaking already. You are quaking already. Your times are up. So please, Biafrans, have a strong heart. I love you guys, man. May peace be unto you.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.